And we're back, working on this old walkway, Picayune's Appian Way. Well, we're going to play with the sand today. We've got all our stones cut. Stones, bricks, pavers, whatever you want to call them. They're made in a factory. They're not cut out of a cliff. So we got some play sand. Now, this is a little finer than the other stuff we had. Also, some of the larger gaps. Get rid of your organic material. And we'll use a little bit of that pea gravel that I pulled out of some of these spots, just to fill the big gaps, and then fill it with sand. So how do we do here? Well, we have our Appian Way. Spartacus has already been here. Now, even though these are cut, they're not really set until you get the sand going in them. Sand really kind of locks them in place, acts like a mortar or a grout. And of course here we, well, hello Dottie Jackson. Yes. Here we ran out of the big blocks, but we have lots of these brown blocks, so finish this little walkway in the tan blocks. And a couple of critical spots is, of course, the transition from the big block to the little block. 1/8 inch, 16th, quarter is too high, and a transition into our picnic area. Even though this area might be humped a little bit, you want this area smooth as you can. You don't want to trip over this, and this will get filled with sand and some pea gravel in the larger spots. And I've put sand down here before, but we had some rain, and a lot of the sand has not washed away, but it's gone down, which is okay. That's okay. And I think in a couple days we'll be ready for the seat. That's the seat. It goes on these supports, and the table goes on the pedestal. And then this job is pretty much done. So that's what we're doing. All of these cuts and those cuts down there were done with the side grinder, the diamond blade. It's a nice dusty mess over here, my cutting station. We have our plastic border, kind of holds the bricks in place. Over the years they want to spread out, they want to move. And like excuse me, about every other stone there's a spike going through the border. Keeps the border from moving this way, and the stone keeps it flat. We may even throw a little sand in the border. And I think we'll see in the future, but over the days and weeks as the sand settles, we'll come back and add some sand. I'll show you a spot here that's before you get your sand all going. Excuse me. Found a spot, a couple spots here. That one's a rockin'. And you can see it's kind of high. That could be a trip. Not bad there. Not bad there. Of course, if this was a beachfront estate, these would be laser leveled. So something like that. Now the sand will lock that in after you get the sand in, but this is a little bit too high. Been using this 6-inch knife, drywall knife. I'm not worried about the organic material under the block. It's in the crack you don't want it, because that turns into debris that rots and can promote weeds. I know there's a hump here in the middle. You might even run into a root. Let's knock that hump out. You might put this down, pick it back up a couple times to get it right. You want it to be pretty even with the side block, whatever it's next to, its neighbor. It looks like mud, but it's mostly sand. This topsoil is not really topsoil, it's mostly sand. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah. This one could come up a little bit. You can use your mallet. Still kind of rocking. Still high there. Still high back here. This one could come. close. That's better. Is that better? Thank you. There you go. Go on. Get. Now the pros, they just come in here with the sand. They dump the sand and they push it around with a broom, clean up, get their check, and go home. I like to play with it a little bit. You like to play with the sand, right? Try to get it down in the crack there. Mrs. Slocum would say, banging into the crack. Just banging into the crack. The sand is also a little damp. A lot of your supply stores leave it out in the yard and it gets rained on. The bags are not watertight, so it's got a little damp sand here. Imagine if this was really fluffy dry, it would go down in that crack really nice. Still moving. Well, anyways, you get the idea. Move the sand around. Tomorrow there'll be gaps where it is dried out. The sand is dried and it's dropped down into the crack. And eventually the crack will fill up. In the days and the weeks to come, we'll come back, fill the gaps. Rains will come, wash it down in there too. Okay, we'll carry on. Maybe later I'll start putting those brackets on the supports for the table over there. You get my hammer drill out and we'll see what that's all about. All right, from Sandy, Picayune, Mississippi. We'll check you out later.